In today's video, we're predominantly going to be talking about the Flash movie, as the Flash movie is coming out on the 14th in UK and various other places in Europe. Yeah, I know the UK isn't in the EU anymore, but technically it's still in Europe, and then it comes out the rest of the world officially on the 16th. I know there is always advanced previews the day before, which would be the 15th, which would be Thursday. And also we're going to talk about Batman and the Brave and Bold, and how that might actually correspond to the surprises that may or may not be in the Flash movie still. So, what is freaking good, YouTube? Boys, Stu here. If you're new around it, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the Monsterverse, Kaiju, DC, Marvel-based content that I try to personally deliver on a daily basis. You can subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and let me know how freaking excited are you for the Flash movie. So, the Flash movie, it's had a very strange marketing campaign, but we're going to find out after this coming week. Did it work? Did it not work? Obviously, the opening weekend doesn't always have to be great for a movie to bang. Just look at Avatar 2. The opening weekend wasn't that good, but then ended up doing $2 billion. So, projections, pretty low for the Flash. Some may say they're lowballing the projections, so if it does better, they can say it's doing better. So, Andy Morshey has been very vocal about talking about spoilers. He's literally come out in most podcasts and interviews and literally revealed the biggest spoilers, but only cameos. Is ruining a cameo ruining a plot point? I don't know, because a cameo is supposed to be a very short sequence. i.e. General Zod, played by Michael Shannon, filmed for this movie for 2 weeks. Although he doesn't have a big part in this movie, well, I guess the trailers make it look that way, but he's not really the overall villain. We all know who the overall villain is. That's not a spoiler. If you've seen the trailers, you already know. So this information came out, and I've spoken to various people behind the scenes, and they still believe the press screener isn't the final version, and on the 16th there will be surprises, whether they be Easter eggs or new cameos. I'm hella excited either way to see, can Ezra Miller, the Flash, pull off two different Barry Allens? So, if you see the movie on June the 16th, I presume he's saying that because that is the theatrical American release, and generally when it releases in America, that is what they class as the real release. Or after, you'll notice that there are a couple surprises that we wanted to leave for the release of the movie to avoid possible leaks and stuff. There's a couple more surprises there. Director Andy Morshey, which is fascinating because if you read the comments on this post, generally speaking, he's on about the wide public release, not the early fan screenings, which had a different ending and didn't have the post-credit. But it also goes on to say he's not talking about the press screeners. Now, the press screeners haven't happened in each country. Going to a fan screening and a press screener, it's not exactly the same thing. Now, from a narrative standpoint, they're not going to change the narrative in the theatrical release on the 14th, 15th, or 16th, but they could slide in some cameos here and there, and there really could be some huge surprises. Because if you think about it, he's been pretty much in the headlines from respectable sources saying that he is head runner to direct Batman and Brave and the Bold. What happens if they actually introduce the new Batman for Batman Brave and the Bold in the real ending scene or a new post-credit scene? Because generally speaking, movies have two post-credits. There is only one post-credit scene that we actually know of thus far. What happens if they've already cast a new Superman and the new Batman? There's multiple articles out there that this person and that person is test screening, but why is there no information about the new Batman? Could the new Batman appear in the Flash ending? We don't know. Could there be another Batman in the movie? We don't know. If you have seen the movie, and if you do actually want to talk about spoilers, put the spoiler tag down below. It's never my intention or my purpose or my aim to ruin or spoil your experience for anything. The kind of people that watch my content generally are the people that want to know about spoilers. They want to talk about theories and all this kind of stuff. So it's all in the same genre, as I like to say. But he must be on about something, because there was an original cut that was shown at CinemaCon, and then it was shown at various places throughout America and the rest of the world. And then there was a screener where certain other details appeared. But I want to believe what Andy Muschietti is saying, that there are some bigger surprises out there. And I really hope this is the case. I really hope it's not them being hyperbolic. And I get it, they've got to promote their movie massively. I mean, allegedly, Warner Bros. Discovery spent $14 million to advertise it during the NBA final heat stages, I presume. They've spent a lot of money on this movie. Now, a lot of people will say, no, they haven't. The budget is $100. That's budget. With marketing, it's well over $350 million. So we already know this movie has to turn over at least $700 million to break even, which in today's climate, in today's box office tracking, it's a really hard thing to do, because if you look at how many movies have actually made over $700 million this year, it's not many. The Super Mario Bros. Movie has made $1.3 billion, but that was really successful. And then Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is just about to break $800 million. Fast and Furious 10 has broke $600 million in 3 weeks. Now that's out on digital download and to buy. And then, as far as people say Ant-Man and the Wasp is a major flop, it might be a major flop, sure, but with Blu-ray sales, etc., it will probably break even, give or take. But that didn't even make $500 million. We're talking about box office numbers here. We're not adding like TV deal rights and Blu-rays and stuff. But if you go under that, John Wick 4 is the 5th highest grossing movie. So we already know the Flash movie will be one of the biggest movies this year. Little Mermaid, $350 million. Across the Spideyverse, $270 million. Now, that movie will do well, but that's only been out one weekend. This is the second weekend. So what I'm saying is, there haven't been many movies this year that have grossed over $700 million. 2 movies, and we're in June. So January, February, March, April, May, June. So we're 6 months into the year, and only 2 movies have taken over $700 million. So when these journalists and people on Twitter say, oh, superhero fatigue. No, generally, if you look at the numbers, it's movie fatigue, if anything, because Guardians made money. Looks like Across the Spideyverse is going to make money because the budget was only $100 million, apparently. And yeah, under $500 million for Ant-Man isn't good, but that's the 4th highest grossing movie this year. If you do go ahead and compare it to last year, there was a lot of bangers last year. You had Avatar 2, $2.3 billion. You had Top Gun Maverick, $1.4 billion. Jurassic World Dominion, $1 billion. And then Doctor Strange, Multiverse of the Madness, $950. Minions, The Rise, $900. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, $850. The Batman, $770. Thor Love and Thunder, $760. So you get my point. Not many movies, less than 10 movies, grossed over $500 million at the box office. Nowadays, studios do combine the box office numbers and also with the Blu-rays and rights to sell the movies off to streaming services, because that is just how what happens and how it takes place in the 21st century. So I think The Flash will be the most successful DC movie this year for a shadow of a doubt. But will it beat The Batman at $770 million last year? It sure as hell better, because the movie does look very good. So, when you just look at the scenes, without even watching the movie, I think Andy Muschietti would be pretty good to direct Batman Brave and the Bold. Why? Because he has to deal with Ben Affleck, who, according to a recent interview with Barbara Muschietti, she dropped a scoop that he doesn't like being called Batfleck. He hates the term Batfleck. That's fascinating, seeing as that's what he's referred to. So if you look at how he dealt with the Batfleck scene, we see him on the Batcycle. And if you look how he dealt with Michael Keaton Batman throughout the movie, Michael Keaton is basically a co-main lead. Yeah, I get it. It's a stunt double because they were literally advertising for a Michael Keaton stunt double. I get it. Michael Keaton, he is 70. He's not going to be able to do all his own stunts by himself, but he does a good majority of them. For a 70-year-old, it's very respectable. So if you look at how he's dealing the Batman sequences and the Batman scenes purely on the spectrum of the trailers, I think he would absolutely nail the Batman Brave and Bold. I just hope we somehow get Joe Manganiello Deathstroke revived in the DCU. That would be so cool. We're never going to get the Batfleck. He hates that name. We're never going to get Batman versus Deathstroke, at least a Batfleck version. But I think Andy Muschietti would be good. And if this movie, I don't predominantly think it has to make $1 billion, but if it makes over if it just breaks even, which we presume will be around the $650, $700 million, if that movie just breaks even and is critically successful, there's no reason why he can't direct Batman Brave and the Bold. It is sitting on a 71% on Rotten Tomato with 117 reviews. Rotten Tomato is subjective. Every review is subjective, but that's not bad for a DC movie. Yeah, I get it. The Joker did pretty well on Rotten Tomato. The Batman did even better on Rotten Tomato, give or take. But the bottom line for studios is generally, how much money did the movie make? Did it break even? And realistically, because it's a new universe, I don't think they care too much about how much money it makes as long as it comes close to, if not breaks even. So I am very much looking forward to the Flash movie starring Ezra Miller. I've heard that he does absolutely slay in both Barrys that he plays, so it's going to be fascinating to see it. I've obviously not seen it yet. I will be seeing it this week. And then we will put out a full review. I don't do non-spoilers because what is the point of doing a review when you've literally got to dance around what you really want to say, but you can't because of spoilers. So we will either post a video on Tuesday or on Wednesday or on Thursday, or we may do 3 different reviews, most likely not. We'll most likely post a video on the Wednesday when it comes out in the UK. So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at WashU to see the face behind the voice. Check us out on Twitter, WashUG, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.